All right, so get this. Today we're taking a deep dive to the most remote continent on Earth, Antarctica.
Ooh, fun.
But we're not just talking penguins and ice here.
No.
We're diving into some seriously strange accounts of unexplained phenomena, whispers of government cover-ups, and maybe even a hint of something extraterrestrial.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so Antarctica, it's like a giant question mark on the map, right?
Yeah, it's like this huge blank space.
It's isolation.
Yep.
And the extreme conditions make it just like the perfect breeding ground for speculation and all these mysteries.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the source material we're looking at today, it throws some serious fuel on the fire.
Okay, so at the heart of this deep dive is this interview with a guy named Brian, a retired Navy flight engineer who claims to have seen some pretty unbelievable things during his time stationed in Antarctica.
Interesting.
And we also have some details about a very strange phone call he received right after going public with his experiences.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this isn't just some random guy spinning a yarn.
Right.
Brian served in the U.S. Navy for a long time, from 1977 to 1997,
Okay.
flying C-130s.
Wow.
His job involved regular flights over Antarctica.
So he was down there a lot.
Yeah, and that's where the strangeness begins.
Okay, I'm hooked already.
So between 1995 and 1996,
Okay.
Brian and his crew reported seeing something truly bizarre.
What?
They described them as rapidly moving silver discs above the Transantarctic Mountains.
UFOs.
Right, now your typical weather balloons.
No, not at all. But before we jump to conclusions, it is important to remember that Antarctica is home to some pretty unique atmospheric phenomena.
Okay.
Like things like ice crystals and temperature inversions can create optical illusions that could easily be mistaken for something a little more out there.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But I have to say this next story is a little harder to explain away.
Okay.
So Brian described seeing this massive hole in the ice near the South Pole.
Huge.
So large, it could supposedly swallow a C-130 whole.
Like the whole plane?
Yeah, and this area was a designated no-fly zone.
Which is interesting in itself, right? Like, why make a section of the most remote continent on Earth off limits?
Exactly.
It naturally makes you wonder what they could be hiding.
Right, and it gets even stranger.
Okay.
Brian's crew only saw this hole because they were on an emergency medical evacuation flight.
Oh, wow.
They were ordered to never speak about it.
Really?
And they were told they didn't see what they saw.
Wow.
That sounds a little suspicious, don't you think?
It certainly raises questions about transparency. Of course, governments have legitimate reasons to classify certain activities,
Sure.
especially in sensitive areas like Antarctica.
Right.
But this level of secrecy, it inevitably fuels speculation.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if this hole could be something more than just a natural formation.
Okay, so hold on to your hat, because this next part is where things take a really unsettling turn.
Okay.
So Brian described this incident involving a group of scientists who disappeared for 2 weeks near Marie Birdland.
2 weeks.
2 weeks gone when they finally reappeared. They were totally silent and just appeared absolutely terrified.
Now, Antarctica is known to have a profound psychological impact on people.
Right.
The isolation, the extreme conditions, the constant darkness or daylight, depending on the season, it can really do a number on your mind.
Yeah, but these scientists were experienced researchers, were accustomed to these conditions.
Yeah, that's true.
They weren't unprepared for the Antarctic environment.
Right.
And according to Brian, they seemed deeply traumatized, not just, disoriented or confused.
It makes you wonder what could have happened during those 2 weeks that left them so shaken, and why were they so reluctant to talk about it?
Right.
Was it simply the psychological toll of their ordeal, or could there be something more to their silence?
And get this, so Brian's crew was tasked with picking up these scientists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They refused to speak.
Huh.
They just seemed totally withdrawn.
Wow.
And once again, the crew was ordered to keep quiet about the whole thing.
Oh, my God.
This pattern of secrecy is starting to feel a little too convenient, don't you think?
It definitely adds to the intrigue. It's as if someone is actively trying to suppress information about certain events in Antarctica.
Yeah.
The question is why? What are they so determined to keep hidden?
Well, this next part might shed some light on that.
Okay.
Just days after Brian went public with these experiences, he received a chilling phone call.
Oh, no.
A voice warned him to stop talking specifically about the missing scientists.
Oh, wow.
And even creepier, the caller knew specifics about Brian's conversation with researcher Linda Moulton Howe.
What?
Like, someone was listening in.
That's incredibly unsettling.
Right. It suggests a level of surveillance that goes beyond mere coincidence.
Yeah.
Someone was clearly interested in what Brian had to say, and they weren't happy about him sharing his story.
Classic intimidation tactic designed to silence witnesses and discourage others from speaking out.
And get this, when Brian Googled the number, it traced back to the NSA.
Oh, my goodness.
So we're not talking about some random crank caller here.
No.
This is a whole new level of strange.
That detail definitely raises the stakes. It suggests that Brian's story, particularly the part about the missing scientists, has caught the attention of some very powerful people.
Right.
And they're not afraid to use intimidation to keep things quiet.
It makes you wonder what those scientists could have stumbled upon during those 2 weeks of radio silence.
Yeah.
And why is the government so interested in keeping it under wraps?
The human mind loves a good mystery, and this one has all the right ingredients.
Yeah.
Unexplained sightings, missing people, government secrecy. It's a recipe for some serious speculation, and things are about to get even weirder, ready to dive deeper.
Absolutely. We've only just scratched the surface here. Okay, so we've got these strange lights, a giant hole in the ice, missing scientists, and a shadowy government agency trying to keep it all hush-hush.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot, but the rabbit hole goes deeper.
Oh, boy.
There's this other piece of the puzzle that we need to look at, and it comes from a pretty unexpected source.
Okay.
Brian mentioned this book
Oh, yeah.
called Selected by Extraterrestrials, written by a man named William Tompkins.
I've heard of him.
Now, Tompkins claimed to have worked on these classified projects for the U.S. Navy, specifically dealing with, wait for it, alien technology.
Alien technology.
Okay, I'm all for a good conspiracy theory,
Right.
but that sounds a little out there even for me.
I hear you. Tompkins' claims are definitely on the fringe.
Okay,
But what's interesting is how some of his descriptions line up with Brian's first-hand accounts.
okay.
For example, Tompkins talked about these different extraterrestrial races, including the Nordics,
Nordics.
who supposedly had a presence here on Earth.
Okay.
And guess what Brian also mentioned? Encountering Nordic beings in Antarctica.
Whoa, that's a pretty wild coincidence. So we've got a retired Navy flight engineer and a supposed insider both talking about these beings.
It's definitely intriguing.
That's got to mean something, right?
Yeah, and Tompkins went even further.
Okay.
He claimed that the U.S. Navy was aware of Nazi Germany's attempts to develop advanced technology,
Okay.
possibly even anti-gravity spacecraft, during World War II.
Okay, now we're talking.
And according to Tompkins, the Nazis were being influenced by, you guessed it, extraterrestrial.
Nazis, UFOs, secret government projects. It's like all the best conspiracy theories rolled into one.
Yeah, Tompkins' story gets even more complicated.
Oh, boy.
He claimed that there were actually two types of Nordic beings.
Okay.
Benevolent ones who were helping the Allies,
Right?
and malevolent ones that were working with the Nazis.
Oh,
It's like this classic good versus evil narrative, but on an interstellar scale.
So are we saying that World War II was actually a proxy war between alien factions?
It's a wild theory for sure, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
It's important to remember that Tompkins' claims are just that, claims.
Right.
There's no concrete evidence to support his story, and a lot of people dismiss it as pure fantasy.
Fair enough. But even if we take Tompkins' story with a grain of salt, it's hard to ignore the parallels with Brian's experiences.
I agree.
They're both talking about Nordic beings, advanced technology, and government secrecy.
Yeah, it feels like there's a connection there, even if it's not as dramatic as a galactic war.
Right. And speaking of strange,
Mm.
let's not forget about that other bizarre incident that happened back in 2002. The alleged disappearance of a documentary crew in Antarctica.
Right, the pyramids under the ice.
This is where that whole pyramids under the ice theory comes into play.
Exactly. A press release from this group called the Atlantis Mapping Project
Right.
claimed that this crew vanished while filming a massive archaeological dig under the ice.
Wow.
And their footage supposedly showed pyramids and other ancient structures,
Really?
hinting at this lost civilization buried beneath the Antarctic ice sheet.
So we're talking about a potential connection between Brian's accounts of strange lights and government secrecy, Tompkins' claims about alien technology and Nazi connections, and now this alleged discovery of a hidden civilization in Antarctica.
It's certainly a fascinating convergence of events and theories.
Right.
And it raises some fundamental questions about our understanding of history, technology, and even human origins.
Yeah. What if there's more to the story of human civilization than we've been led to believe?
Right. Imagine if there really was this advanced civilization thriving in Antarctica millions of years ago when the continent was warmer and more habitable.
The implications are mind-blowing.
It would rewrite history as we know it.
Right.
We'd have to rethink everything we thought we knew about the development of human society, the capabilities of ancient cultures, and the possibility of advanced technology existing long before recorded history.
It's enough to make your head spin.
Yeah.
And it also adds another layer to the mystery of those missing scientists.
Right. What if they stumbled upon evidence of this lost civilization?
That's a compelling thought. Maybe they found something so shocking, so world-changing, that the powers that be decided it was best to keep it under wraps.
It would certainly explain the secrecy and intimidation surrounding Brian's case.
Okay, but hold on a sec.
Yeah.
If we're going down this rabbit hole,
Uh-huh.
we need to address the elephant in the room,
Okay.
the scientific community. What do actual scientists have to say about all this talk of pyramids and lost civilizations in Antarctica?
Well, the mainstream scientific community, by and large, is pretty skeptical about these claims.
Okay.
They point out that Antarctica is a geologically active continent with a history of volcanic eruptions and glacial movements.
Right.
So many of these pyramid-shaped formations that have been photographed can be explained by natural geological processes.
So are you saying that the whole pyramids under the ice thing is just a big misunderstanding?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There are some researchers who believe that the evidence, while circumstantial, warrants further investigation.
Okay.
They argue that there are certain anomalies in Antarctica that can't be easily explained by conventional geology. And they point to the fact that we've only explored a tiny fraction of the continent.
That's true.
Who knows what secrets might still be hidden beneath the ice?
We're talking about a continent that's almost twice the size of Australia.
Exactly.
We've barely scratched the surface.
So while it's important to be critical of extraordinary claims, it's also important to keep an open mind.
Right.
Antarctica is a place of extremes, extreme cold, extreme isolation, and as we're seeing, extreme mystery.
And let's not forget about that weird phone call that Brian received
Oh, yeah, that was strange.
while he was being interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like someone or something was trying to shut down the conversation.
Yeah. Do you think there could be more to that incident than just a coincidence?
It's certainly a strange detail, and it adds another layer of unease to this whole story.
Definitely.
It's almost as if there are these unseen forces at play trying to manipulate events and control the flow of information. Okay, I'm officially creeped out now, but also completely hooked.
Me too.
I need to know what happens next.
Yeah. Is there anything else in the source material that could shed light on all of this?
Well, there's one more detail that's worth mentioning.
Okay.
It happened during Brian's interview with Linda Moulton Howe,
Linda Moulton Howe.
the journalist who's done a ton of work on UFOs and government cover-ups.
Right.
What happened?
Well, in the middle of their conversation,
Yeah.
Linda's phone suddenly activated,
Uh-oh.
and Siri asked if she wanted to call a hospital.
What?
It was totally out of the blue and completely unrelated to anything they were discussing.
Wait, so her phone just randomly started dialing a hospital?
Pretty much. That's freaky.
It is, and it makes you wonder if there was some kind of external interference, some kind of technological glitch, or maybe even something more paranormal.
Okay, now I'm really spooked. So
Yeah.
we've got unexplained lights in the sky, a giant hole in the ice, missing scientists, government secrecy, possible alien technology whispers of a lost civilization, and a phone that randomly dials a hospital.
Yeah.
It's a lot to process. What are we supposed to make of all this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We've explored a lot of different threads in this deep dive.
Right.
We've looked at Brian's firsthand accounts, considered the claims of William Tompkins, examined the evidence for and against a lost civilization in Antarctica, and even delved into this strange world of government secrecy and potential technological interference. It's a lot to take in, but I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. Where do we go from here?
I think it's time to step back and consider the bigger picture.
Right.
What are the implications of all these stories? What do they tell us about the nature of reality, the limits of our knowledge, and the possibility that there's more to the universe than we currently understand?
Okay, so we've journeyed through some pretty wild territory. Strange lights, missing scientists, government cover-ups, whispers of alien technology, and lost civilizations. Even a phone that seemingly dials a hospital on its own.
It's enough to make anyone question everything.
It's a lot,
Yeah.
but I'm all about embracing the mystery. I also like to connect the dots.
Yeah.
So let's try to make some sense of this Antarctic puzzle.
Okay.
We've got Brian's firsthand accounts, which are undeniably compelling, even if they're anecdotal.
Right.
Then there's William Tompkins,
Uh-huh.
whose claims are definitely more out there.
Yeah.
but still strangely resonant with some of Brian's experiences.
I
And of course, there's the whole pyramids under the ice theory, which is a real head-scratcher.
It's tempting to try to weave all these threads into a neat and tidy narrative,
Right.
but I think it's important to resist that urge.
Yeah.
The truth is we might never know for sure what's really going on in Antarctica.
Yeah,
And
that's okay.
okay. But indulging in a little speculation never hurt anyone, right? So let's say for the sake of argument that there is something to these stories. What would it mean for humanity if we discovered that we're not alone in the universe, or that our history is far more ancient and complex than we ever imagined?
The implications are profound.
Right.
It would challenge our understanding of our place in the cosmos,
Yeah.
our relationship to other intelligent beings, and even our own origins.
Yeah.
It would force us to reevaluate our values, our
Mm.
beliefs, and our sense of purpose.
It's almost too much to comprehend,
Yeah,
but it's also incredibly exciting, don't you think?
absolutely.
Like to think that there might be so much more to discover, so many more mysteries to unravel.
It makes you realize how little we actually know about the universe and our place in it.
I think that's the ultimate takeaway from this deep dive.
Yeah,
Antarctica, with its vast frozen landscape and all those hidden secrets, it's like a symbol of the unknown.
yeah.
It's a reminder that there are still frontiers to be explored, both physically and intellectually,
Right.
and that the search for knowledge is an ongoing journey, not a destination.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about finding all the answers. It's about asking the right questions, keeping an open mind, and being willing to challenge what we think we know.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe one day some of these mysteries will be solved.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find concrete evidence of a lost civilization in Antarctica, or maybe we'll make contact with extraterrestrial intelligence.
Right.
Or maybe the truth will remain elusive, forever shrouded in mystery.
Either way, it's a fascinating journey, and that's what the deep dive is all about, right?
Absolutely.
Exploring the unknown, challenging our perspectives, and sparking a sense of wonder about the world around us.
That's exactly right. And we hope this exploration has inspired you to continue your own journey of discovery.
Yeah.
Keep asking questions, keep searching for answers, and never stop exploring the mysteries of the universe.
Well, thanks for joining us on this incredible adventure to the bottom of the world and perhaps beyond.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep those minds curious and those imaginations open.